This is the 188th meeting of the Equal Employment Practices Commission. Can I get a motion to approve the minutes of the June 26, 2014
I
meeting?
move that we approve the minutes of June 26, 2000.
I second that motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? So moved.
Okay, I'll do the audit status report. As you guys know, we're doing discrimination complaint and investigation procedure audits. Agencies that receive corrective actions are the Department of Finance, the Board of Standards and Appeals, the Department of Health and Mental Hygiene, and Community Board number 13. So those determinations went out within the past week or so. And we also started new audits, the Department of Probation. No, actually, these audits are in progress. The Department of Probation, Human Resources Administration, the Administration for Children's Services, the Department of Youth and Community Development, the Manhattan Borough President's Office, the Office of Emergency Management, and the Small Business Services, Department of Small Business Services. And the City Clerk?
Yes.
Okay.
Teresa, are these also limited in scope to discrimination complaint and
Right.
investigation?
Right.
So these are the same, if you will, limited or more focused audit?
Correct.
Okay.
The agencies in progress should be completed by the next meeting. The upcoming audits, these are audits that we mailed, initiation letters that we mailed within the past week or so, are the Office of Collective Bargaining, the Department of Consumer Affairs, the Department of Cultural Affairs. The other audits that are listed here, the Department of City Planning, the Fire Department, and Landmarks Commission, we have to develop audits for these agencies that probably will not be discrimination and investigation.
No, I would
audits.
assume that the fire department would be a broad audit
Right,
based on prior audits that you've had with them, as with landmarks and probably city planning.
City Planning, the FDNY, Landmarks, and the Civil Service Commission will receive audits that are more focused on selection and recruitment rather than discrimination complaints.
I would recommend that the fire department be a broad audit, period. I think you've got to go back in and do the same kind of audit, given their particular problems historically. I mean, others I think you can limit, I think that one we can't limit yet. That's at least my position, I don't know what the
I
other
agree with
commissioners
that,
think.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think all the
Especially with the past
commissioners
history,
are in
yeah.
agreement that based on it, you've got to do a complete audit with the fire department. I understand that that takes a lot of time and effort,
Yeah.
but I think that one is just sui generis. Its own
Okay,
kind.
so we'll
take that under
explore the
advisement,
type,
right?
right, we'll explore the type.
As to the others, I'm in agreement that you can do a limited audit, but not that one.
Do we wanna save the vote till the end?
Yes.
Okay, so then you can discuss the compliance monitoring.
Okay, so the agencies that are currently being monitored for their implementation of the corrective actions, well, include the Office of the Mayor, FISA, and the New York City Council. Department of Sanitation and Department of Homeless Services have implemented all the corrective actions, and there are resolutions that will be voted on today. They are prepared. With regard to the Office of the Mayor, the July was their 6th month to put in their report, and they have been issuing their reports appropriately. However, some of the corrective actions that they're working on will require extra time. And so I believe they will be requesting an extension of the compliance monitoring period.
Are you recommending that we extend it?
Yes, I do. Yes, As far as Financial Information Services Agency, FISA, that agency also has some issues which will take them, we are communicating with them with regard to some misunderstandings or basically a misunderstanding on what is required in terms of implementation of the corrective action. So whereas this is they did send in their 6-month report, I believe they will require an extension, and I do recommend an extension be granted.
Then the same thing, I assume, with the city council?
No, city council is up to date. Their compliance monitoring period started in April
Okay.
because of extensions that they received prior to starting. So that will be completed in November. And Community Board, Brooklyn Community Board number 6 started compliance in in June. And there are other community boards, Brooklyn community boards, which started compliance, and you'll see them on the agenda, and were able to implement the recommendation in 1 month. And so they have completed compliance.
Can we go to the vote?
I'm trying to, let's talk about the public hearing before we vote, so that we don't have.
Well, I'd like Commissioner Daniel here.
For the public
Yeah.
hearing, so let's go to the vote.
No, I'd like Commissioner Daniel here for the vote, right?
Oh, okay. Okay.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
All right.
Right, but I wanted to speak about the public hearing first. So, earlier this year, we developed, polls for the public hearing.
Right.
And then I know that last week you introduced a new idea. So, I'm not sure at this point if we're sticking with the original idea, which really, if we plan to do a public hearing, we're probably gonna be doing the work if we send the polls out, maybe in January, because we have to focus on getting the rest of the audits out.
But,
At the
well,
end
for
of this
purposes
year?
of this discussion, at the end of our meeting, after it's over, Sharice and I had a discussion, and since I was full of coming back from Texas and Lyndon Baines Johnson, and having seen all the way, there was some sense that it's the 50th year of the Civil Rights Act, and that there might be some benefit for focusing the public hearing on the Civil Rights Act and its implementation, and what does it mean for the city of New York, sort of going back to basics and using that and finding people who would speak about what life was like before, what life is like now, and the difference that it has made in the society as a whole. And doing that in sort of educating a whole group of people who were not alive then, who have taken a good portion of this as granted, who don't understand what difference it has made in the employment structure, even to the extent that the word sex was put into the Civil Rights Act in almost the last minute and really wasn't part of the earlier discussion or part of what has happened, and what difference that has made in opportunities and recruitment. I must say, if I had not gone to Texas and been subsumed by visiting the Johnson Space Center and visiting the Johnson Museum at the University of Texas at Austin, and going out to the ranch and discovering really what not only a political animal he was, but in fact that if you look back on it, and we can all have different points of view about it, if he had not been there at the time after Kennedy was assassinated, it is not clear to me that we would ever have had a Civil Rights Act, or that it would have happened at that time 50 years ago. So it just seemed as it provided a larger reason why for a public hearing. it provided a greater interest, you know, something that would be of greater interest and greater pull, and still had a great deal of meaning for us as, if you look at it, as the Equal Employment Practices Commission, because that's really basically what it's all about. The Equal Rights Amendment is about equal employment, equal treatment of everybody as an individual. So that was the conversation that Sharice and I had. Nothing beyond that. We didn't try to figure out who might be speakers or where they are, but it's not hard to put together a group of people who would come forward and talk about it, people who practice in the area, and
I like the history. Yes.
and of course, and find ourselves a historian who would speak. Anyway, that was the thought, and find a lot of other organizations that might want to come in, either to co-sponsor or participate, like yours. Anyway, that was, and by that, Arva, I mean the one that you are executive director of. Anyway, that was the thought. I don't know what other commissioners think about it. As I say, this was just a conversation that Sharice and I had, because we've been trying to find something to, you know, hang on. And I think this would give us what I've been looking for all through this discussion, which is a public face, that we were doing something. I mean, this seems to me, it fits within the new mayor's portfolio. It fits within a whole lot of other things that are going on. It fits between some of the issues that are current community issues. You know, the word equality, which is something we'd love to say we've achieved, may not be where we are yet. And it may well be that we need to go back to the core of what was, applaud how far we've come, and then go to how far we need to go. Anyway, that's,
I love the history, yeah.
that was the thought. Am I repeating myself somewhat accurately, Sharice?
Yeah, pretty much.
And so Sharice's question's a good question, because the polls were really rather different, and what we were looking for to reach out to get was a different thing that we were searching for from the people who would be attracted to it, and we were using it to create some degree of excitement. I think this concept by itself creates the excitement.
Well, the thing is that at some point, I think we still need to do the polls and do some sort of event around those issues.
I agree.
It could be part of.
It could be part of it, it could be workshops as part of it.
But I think my main issue, my main purpose for bringing it up is that whatever it is wouldn't be able to happen until next January.
I got it.
And so you're saying it's actually not during the anniversary?
Right. It's gonna be pretty much after the anniversary.
Well, the anniversary starts, I think, it's signed in, if I'm not mistaken, in the summertime, because it's before he gets it, before he has to run for office. He, Johnson, believed from the point where he becomes the accidental president until the election happens is his 9 months in which he can get this done while the country is still in grief. And while he still he's not running for re-election, he doesn't have to make the political compromises he would need to have made. And so that's when it happens. So it happens, we have to look, I think it happens in October. So moving into January is still the celebration of its 50th year. So I don't think that's the problem.
On July 2nd, 1964, President Lyndon B. Johnson signed into law the Civil Rights Act of 1964.
July 2nd? Thank you.
Well, it's still within the year, is what you're saying.
Yeah. It's still within its 50th year.
I mean, I don't necessarily know that the timing is that big of an issue, because I think you can always say, look, in recognition of the fact that we just celebrated the 50th anniversary of the legislation, you know, certainly I think within the time, you know, within a 4-month, 5-month time frame, you're still able to do it timely, let's say. You know, my only thing, you know, and I defer to Sharice on this, is just I want to hear from her. You know, I mean, I think a seminar like this is significantly easier because you don't have to rely on people outside of the EPC necessarily with the polls and getting them back timely, et cetera. So this might be something that you could put together quicker than what we were contemplating doing, I think. But I don't, you know,
You still need lead time to get
Yeah.
speakers, it's August.
but you,
which is-
yeah, that's right, you
Yeah.
need some time, so I don't, you know,
So
just to
let-
be clear.
I just wanna point out, none of the work could really be done until January. So I'm not saying that the hearing is gonna be done in January. I'm saying that the work will probably be done in January, which means it may be, it could be, with this, maybe it could probably take a month, I don't know. And maybe the end of January or February. But if we do anything with the polls and, you know, getting the results back and tallying the results and then developing questions and things like that, then.
Pull back for a minute. If what we're doing is putting together a plan in celebration of the statute and what the history was, its implementation here and what the vision is going forward, you mean no one can do the thinking about that and do the inviting and securing a place to hold it before January?
Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. Why? Because we're inundated right now, and you guys have placed a quota of 35 audits. And so we have to get that done before any of the other work is done.
What's your number at this point?
I think 24,
24.
but remember, we have new employees, a lot of training is going on. So everything has to come through my desk because I have to read and see whether or not there are errors, or sometimes people don't understand certain issues, so then we have to go back and make sure that they understand certain issues, and understand how to look at the information, and then
I
the
have a
researcher's
suggestion.
doing her own work on the audits that we're gonna be initiating, so.
I have a suggestion. What if I attempt to put together a proposed program and look and see if I can find proposed speakers and write a proposed letter of solicitation that would go on and bring it to the next meeting?
That would be excellent.
And so if I do that, and I will ask whatever commissioners want to join in and help me, but we could do, let's try to do that as a work product, and if we do it, I mean, I'd like to have the public hearing, if everybody's in agreement that this makes sense, let's look at a proposal of what it would look like at the next meeting, and then decide whether it makes sense or doesn't make sense.
Okay.
That it, everybody?
That's fair enough.
Okay.
The other thing is, I just want to put this on the table, that the original, I guess, justification for a public hearing, it was based on the original idea in terms of funding. So that's all we have to say about that issue.
I'm
I
sorry,
just want to put that on the
I'm
table.
sorry, we've got to move this back to, I'm
Yes.
sorry.
That the
So that's why I said
justification
this.
for the funding of the public hearing was based on the original idea.
And you have
So I
received it
just-
in your budget or not? It's in your budget.
Yeah, so
Okay.
we don't have to discuss that any further, but we can,
Well, we can figure out how to tailor a portion of it, as I said. In here, we can look at workshops, and the workshops could pick up, this could be the umbrella under which those workshops would appear.
okay.
And we could probably coordinate it. I'm not gonna deal with the second part of it. I'm just looking at a proposal, and I'm back at the proposal of what it would be, of who possible speakers might be, not having invited anybody without the authorization. I won't do that, but trying to look at what it might look like, how it might break down, what you might do, and where you might hold it, and then we'll go from there.
Great.
Does the Department of Education have within it, or has it been so restructured across the room that there's no hall in it, no public meeting hall anymore, do you know?
In Tweed?
Hmm?
In Tweed?
Tweed.
Yeah, Tweed on the ground floor has a open public area, but you wouldn't have any space.
No, there was a public hearing, there was a wonderful old courtroom on the second floor, and I don't know whether when they redid it, they got rid of it.
On the second floor?
There was an old courtroom, we used to use it all the time, for public hearings. That may have been, you may be right, that's why I asked the question, Arba. I don't know whether when they went in to restore quote
Right.
Tweed, whether they took that hearing room out.
Yeah, that's not for me, but yeah, we should definitely ask about it, but I do know that they do, public events on the ground floor where the school is. So it's like, but it's an open space, but you wouldn't have, space for workshops or anything, it would just be open chair.
But then they have other, well, okay,
Well, I'm assuming the workshops would be done here. Were you thinking that?
you don't have enough space, I don't think, for your workshops here, depending on your attendance. You could only do one at a time.
Right, that's what I was thinking. Were you thinking of doing
Simultaneous.
multiple at one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I was thinking of doing multiple workshops, so people could choose which one they wish to attend. And
Okay,
that would
well,
make it broad.
I'm
So how long would this be?
I'm going to email you guys the original idea.
Yeah, but
the
this
original
sounds like
proposal.
this
Yeah,
is
this
like a
is-
whole day.
Yeah, this
Well,
is
you
like
could do it-
straying from-
You could do it in 3 hours.
I mean, I don't know how
Morning.
you guys do. I don't know who has 3 hours to spare.
Morning,
I mean,
yeah, you can do it in the morning.
Well, okay, we'll explore it.
Do you want to recap of what we're talking about?
No, I think I'm picking it up, yeah.
It's a video.
Yeah.
Watch the video.
It's a new idea that's been introduced for public hearing.
Okay.
Yeah.
New theme or just like?
New
or
theme.
Okay, what's the theme?
50th anniversary of the Title VII.
Oh, that's great, okay, that's great.
But
Okay,
I-
so,
yeah, okay. No, that's fine. Go ahead.
And I have to say, when you were speaking, I did picture a half-day forum at a university with Henry Louis Gates or Cornell West, or like, that's what it conjured up for me.
Yeah, no, I think
And
you're
that's
right.
very, you have to see if that's something that fits your vision and is something that you think would be helpful to the individual employees within the city, if that's something that you want to do. But
I
that's
think
what
that's a
Kat
good,
said.
that's a bit, I think you're right, Arva, and that I think is a larger ticket item that people will come to.
Mhm.
in
But-
terms of attendance, I definitely think that would draw more people
Yeah,
Yeah.
and different types of people
right,
than the original idea.
right. But it could be multi-purpose, because your workshops would then pull in the original people who would stay. So to your point about people staying, after the speakers that first hour, I suspect you lose half or 3/4 of your audience, and you're left with, my term, the worker bees who are interested in the particular workshops that are more work-related to what they do, as opposed to this big concept over here.
Well,
I mean,
I
don't know
think we
how many
can,
workshops are you trying to have?
I think what we can do is probably, as per the charter, identify advisory committees there, and then maybe work with them after that, and then have a separate forum where, you know, we present the work as a separate hearing or forum. But I don't know, we wanna pack it into,
Yeah, there are lots of different ways. Let
Right.
me
Yeah, look
deal
into it,
with
yeah.
just putting together a concept,
Yeah.
a proposal. Let's look at it, from that, let's determine what we
Okay.
can do and not do. What I'm volunteering to do is to remove from you that portion of the problem to try to make it go forward so we can in fact
Right.
implement it sooner rather than later.
okay,
I hear you
Good.
about your workload problem, and so I volunteered to at least attempt to relieve it at this point.
CUNY Grad Center, their basement has a great auditorium, and
Yep.
then they have small spaces
Areas.
right outside, so it's like if you wanted to do the workshop, it's very easy, because they just file out and there's just a row of rooms there that you could do it, or just use the auditorium, so,
yeah, we got estimates from the CUNY.
Okay.
The original estimate, I think, was based on space.
Got it.
grants.
And
Yeah,
so
no, and I
They
just-
have a nice space.
in a
They have a
strategy,
very
that would be
nice
to
space.
partner with a nonprofit organization, so you could get either lower or waived. So you definitely wanna do that.
And I might be able to help,
Okay, sounds good.
which is where we met yesterday.
That's right.
So now we can vote, we can do the resolutions. It's, here's your pen.
I wish to move to vote on resolution number 2014/59C-17, determination of compliance by Board of Standards and Appeals. Resolution number 2014/071C/18, determination of compliance by the Department of Homeless Services. Resolution number 2014/827C-19, determination of compliance by the Department of Sanitation. Resolution number 2014/474C-20, determination of compliance by the Brooklyn Community Board number 4. Resolution number 2014/475C-21, determination of compliance by Brooklyn Community Board number 5. Resolution number 2014/477C-22, determination of compliance by Brooklyn Community Board number 7. Next, resolution number 2014/487C-23, determination of compliance by Brooklyn Community Board number 17. And last but not least, resolution number 2014/156C-24, determination of compliance by the Taxi and Limousine Commission.
A second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Second.
All those opposed? So moved.
Okay, so we have a new employee that I want you guys to meet. You can call him.
Should we second sign you?
Yes.
That's always every meeting.
That's what we waited.
Hi, Emily, would you please come to the conference room?
Yeah, of course.
Thanks.
Hi, I'm not gonna put you on the spot, I just want you to meet the commission members. Emily Nell.
Hey, how are you? Nice to meet you. I'm Caesar. Hi, pleasure to meet you.
Elaine Reese, pleased to meet you.
Hi, it's very nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Well, I'm Art, good to meet you. So Emily's she's a program analyst, but she also has experience in SBSS and doing research. So she's gonna be working with the research specialist, doing some research on like underutilization and topics like that. So we're happy that you're here.
Great.
Glad to be here.
And she wasn't here last week, so
That's
we rescheduled the meeting just because she wasn't here. No, just kidding. But we're happy with you here. This is all you.
Yes, back to it.
Welcome.
Nice to meet you. Thank you.
So if there's nothing further, is there any new business? You want to give an update on the procurement?
Oh. The,
Where's our software?
okay, so our software, our teammate software, the proposal has been accepted, reviewed. We found a place where there was a little difference in the price, and also went through the Office of the Comptroller directive with regard to travel expenses, and so we had to get them to conform to working with the City of New York, and that has been, they were very willing to do so. And so it's now in a matter of really drafting the document and getting it to, getting the procurement, the actual procurement process going.
I have this not very pleasant question to ask.
Oh,
When do you think, if the gods are shining the right way, you will actually have the software to use?
We hope by the end of the
What do
year.
you, well, not
Oh,
when do you
yes.
think? Like,
Oh,
what
yes,
what have they
yes.
told you? And
they are ready to go. The vendor is itching to go.
Right.
So the minute that I said, oh, look, we need to change this, they sent us a revised proposal. So they are ready to go, and
What is
within,
that?
within.
That
the
means
timeline.
ready to start. When do they tell you?
Is it a
Caesar's
two-month
question.
process?
When have they promised completion?
Well,
Actually, I think it's less than a 2-month process. I
But-
definitely think it's less than a 2-month
but
process.
let me just, kind of break it down, because even if they're ready to start, they still have to kind of tailor the program to our needs. And so that's gonna involve us sitting and
Mhm.
going through different documents and really telling them how the information that we use can be placed into the system, and we pretty much have a demo of it, but it has to be personalized, so that's gonna take a little while. And then we will also have to kind of pilot the program with an agency or two.
To see if it
To,
works.
right, and also from the agency's side to get, hopefully we can get one of these audits that we're doing now to sort of be a pilot for us. So we have to sort
So
of
the
tweak it.
agency would need to input their data into this new system, and you would then collate and read it? All right.
No, not necessarily. I think even though I can't really speak on it because it hasn't been done, I think this is how it works. But the agency's, I guess, submission of items would come during the compliance process, really. They would be able to read the documents and respond to it. So, anyway, maybe I shouldn't really talk on it because I don't
All right,
have the
so the
intricacies.
answer to my question, Caesar's question is, we don't really know how long it's gonna take once it starts.
Yeah, but the point is
Is that
to
what you
get
were
it
asking? I
started.
thought you were asking
Yes, he was
about how
asking
long
the
the
completion date.
Yeah, I thought you were asking about the length of the procurement process, though. I didn't know, I didn't think you were asking about the
procurement.
implementation of the actual.
Well, let's
that-
talk both,
that program. Okay.
about both.
Yeah, the actual procurement should be very
Yeah,
short.
but the procurement is one thing, yeah, and with
But in terms of actual
the impact that it would have on the
people
work.
in the office,
Yeah,
they
I
have,
understood that your.
they have to coordinate with DeWitt, even though DeWitt has started to prepare, but the actual preparation with DeWitt has to be established, and then their work with us here and with our actual material. That, on paper, they anticipate just a few days on that, but I'm sure it will actually be, a bit of time.
What is it, 3 months? 2 months?
We
No rain?
Yeah,
Yeah, we
optimism,
can't
optimism, 2 months.
I think a lot of the work on our part, even though I think I've done this already,
Yeah.
but we'll be developing instructions for the agencies, like actual instructions that I can distribute about what they can do or what their role is, and then instructions internally about how we approach things from our side. Because things are changing drastically from the way we used to do things to now where it's a lot more efficient, but, I guess it requires, people knowing exactly what steps they have to take and what their role is in the process. So roles are kind of evolving also.
Okay, this is a really dumb question to ask.
Oh, boy.
Well, it is. Is this software as it was originally contemplated and what you originally thought it could be used for still something that you, one, believe it can be used for? Or is that too evolving?
No, absolutely. It's something that we believe it can be used for, and our original idea that we intended it to be used for. There are some things that we were like, oh, well, we can do that. Or there may be one or two things that we were like, okay, we will have to put that in rather than the agency. But I guess the important things are storing information and being able to populate information into certain places, generating reports.
And having a
Having-
centralized communication?
Right. Or having a centralized place to keep the information even,
Right.
electronically. but also, managing the entire process. Because I think what the auditors or commission members or even agencies are not really aware of is the management that we have to do. The manual management of an audit, like just developing documents or keeping stuff in your brain and saying, oh yeah, was that the agency that did such and such? Well, let's go look and see whether or not that's the agency. That takes a lot of effort, where if it's in a system where we can pull the agencies by issue.
Right.
Or something like that, then it helps us analyze the information better.
Okay, I was
So-
just, as you were talking about things evolving, I just want to make sure that there's not only the expenditure of money, which is the smallest part of this, but the expenditure of time
Right.
was still worthwhile. That was the reason for my dumb question, and it sounds as though it still is, so.
I mean, even
Good luck,
something
we've only been
simple
dealing with
like
this for
putting,
3 years.
even something simple like putting the agencies on a 4-year cycle.
Yeah.
I do that manually with an Excel spreadsheet.
Yeah, no, understood.
You know, just little simple things that I wouldn't have to handle,
Right.
this program can do. So, trust me, it's gonna make
Life easier. I will make you more efficient.
a lot of it is management of the audits. And that's what I think we don't have here.
Okay.
It exists, but like I said, we do a lot of it by saying, wasn't that the place that?
Yeah.
Let's go look in the file.
No, you
You know,
got it.
or-
No, I
There's
understood.
time.
Yeah, it's just kind of frightening, so.
Okay.
But, okay, that's it, anything else you wanna say? So by the end of the year, we think that we'll have everything working smoothly.
Yeah, oh, definitely, oh, definitely. I'm totally comfortable.
Don't quote me on
Cherise,
it, but I think
Cherise, that's
so.
if the gods are all smiling at you. I got it.
But
You
they
gave
are-
me the
they
answer to
are
my
smiling
question.
on us, Elaine.
Thank you, gave me the answer. Could I move to adjourn this meeting?
Second?
All those in favor?
Uh,
All those opposed? We're adjourned.
Okay.